The 7:30, so I guess we can kick off. Welcome to members of the public, nice to see you here. Just a reminder that the parish meetings are now live streamed. So you guys are nearer to the microphone than I am. But any careful what you say. Okay. To receive apologies for absence, I can not. Did my magic. No. Okay, so I assume Simon's on his way. Second item is to approve and authorize the previous meeting.
Yep. This my later on.
Anyone have any comments? No. Right, and sign these. Okay. Any matters arising from the minute? Even. Okay. Update on action list from the chairman. I have to apologise. Life's been crazy for me for the last month, so I haven't updated the list. I will be after this meeting. They send it round in the usual fashion. Declaration of interest, financial or otherwise, is on the agenda tonight. No. Public forum. Any members of the public like to say anything?
Thank you, Chairman. I just thought I'd come along and give a verbal update of the meeting we held on the 22nd of January in the Red Lion for the social events thing. It was a great meeting, lovely to see about 30 people there, and the real spirit of cooperation within the meeting from quite a varied number of people from the various sort of focus groups within the community. So it was good to see that many people there. There were numerous events suggested, some large, some small, some doable, some will want a little bit more work put into them to make them fly, but hey ho, at least there were suggestions coming forward, which I thought was great. There's two things I'd just like to draw to your attention. One, there was a unanimous feel within the meeting that we hold a party by the lake. So I would ask you as council members to give serious consideration to allowing that to take place, to use the both the field and the pavilion to put that event on. And the second point was raised was the fact that the meeting was aware that you as a council have numerous, we'll call them projects, but demands on your funds, shall we say. So, like this place, the village hall, playground, perhaps a pavilion. You'll know more than I do where your money's being drawn towards. And it was suggested that you might like to put forward one project that the village could focus on, perhaps for a year, perhaps for 2 years. That's sort of to be determined, but at least it gives a focus for people to realise what the purpose of these events is. And if there is a surplus from any events within the village, it could be ring fenced for that particular project. So let's say the village hall, or as I've said, there's numerous. But if you could, those two things were the things that really came out of the meeting. We're hoping to hold another meeting on the 27th of this month in the Red, I think it's 27th.
26th.
Was it 26th? I'll tell you in a minute. 26th, you're right. So yeah, if we can drive things forward there, because some of these things want a fair bit of planning, as you well know. So that was all it was, Chairman. Just thought I'd give it a verbal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very much.
Yes, I mean, you've probably seen from the agenda that we actually had an item to discuss that. So I won't respond now, but we will discuss it.
Yeah.
We'll take your points on board.
I think on that there is a kind of sense of urgency that we need to put, if we want the band I don't know the name of the band, but it's one we've used before.
Nightcap.
Yeah, then they need to know, or we need to put them as soon as possible. So, you know, otherwise we're just taking the decision further down the line. We might actually miss out on getting that particular band. Or send the wrong type of people out there. But
I think
So-
I want to.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Simon has put forward an agenda item for Party in the Park, so we will make a decision tonight.
Correct.
Hopefully it'll be yes or no, and not maybe.
Yeah,
We will make a decision.
okay.
Yeah, can I just
Sure.
ask a question really about on your agenda, you're talking about parking, paying for parking down by the lake, 14 spots down there. I just hope before you decide to go ahead with that you can give us reassurances that everywhere else in the locality will be protected from people deciding, oh, we're not going to pay, we're going to just park up on this street or that street. Because I think everything needs to be put together before anything like that is brought into play. So,
Thanks for the feedback. I mean, obviously that again will be discussed.
yeah,
I'm sure amongst my colleagues there'll be at least somebody who will have the same opinion. So we'll take that under discussion.
you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you for your feedback. Always appreciated it. Do we have a report from the police?
I did receive one yesterday and I will distribute it, and it says everything was quiet,
Okay,
basically. Been a very good January.
that's it. So a report from, I don't know if it's Councillor Parkinson or not anymore, but there's a report from Councillor Parkinson.
Councillor.
Sorry. I haven't got my glasses on.
So it is now Councillor Hay, so yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, someone dragged me down the aisle finally. Okay, so this one, start with the little stuff. So we've got a pop, you'll have to excuse me if I yell, because I'm slightly deaf in one ear. I've got head colds to do, let me know otherwise. I've got a pothole that I reported on Frog Lane that's apparently getting a little bit worse. So that's one that we're keeping an eye on at the moment. Grit bins. I've been asked about grit bins for the top of orchards against the wall. I've spoken to Cheshire East Highways about that. Now the decision for funding comes between April and September this year. All the funding has gone for that, but I've asked for it to be prioritised, so I will keep an eye on that because I know it's quite important to you all. I do have 3 further grit bins. Are you sure you only want 1 grit bin? Or is there another area that you would like?
There's an area at the right at the front of Jacob's Way, round number 1.
I could do with one.
We could do with one
Is there
there.
any chance I could have a picture of that?
I can,
The exact
yeah.
location, then we can try and pump for 2, because you may as well, the funding's coming out, so ask for 2, you might get 1, but ask for 2.
I'm just thinking if you have it at the start, near number 1, but just on the outside,
Yeah.
it could do also then for sort of like up, round, down.
Yeah, I mean, highways, they'd assess the place realistically. I know where you'd like it, but they'll
Yeah.
probably just assess it to make sure it is suitable. But that's if we can get it, because I've plumped for the orchards one, but I'll ask for that one as well. Yeah, that's
Right.
brilliant, thank you. The next one is the railings. So it's the one by the bus stop. Councillor Knight's emailed me about this. He had a very unsatisfactory answer back from highways, which I thought was appalling, to be honest. Instead of actually addressing the issue, because the railings, I've seen them myself, they are protruding out, the rusting. It is a hazard to people cutting through, and the minimum that they should be doing at this point should be actually cordoning off the area, or at least just blocking it, putting safety tape round, anything. I think the excuse that came back was there isn't any funding, which there isn't at the moment. I get that. And they're going to put this on their works programme to assess, to see if there is suitability for it. So that means it's not necessarily funding. You're going to see whether they can afford funding. Now, I know what will happen. Everything will go to the epicentre of the earth, which is Crewe, and rural areas will get waylaid. But £15 million has come from central government recently for rural projects. So I'm jumping on that right now because I think this is actually quite serious. They said it is serious. It's not on the top of the priority list. I disagree actually on this. So I sent them a rocket over the weekend. I was that angry. I actually emailed them at the weekend, and I don't do that. So I'm going to keep chasing them this week, and I will keep you all informed.
Yeah, the only positive thing they did say was that they'll keep an eye on it.
That means nothing, unfortunately. I'm so sorry.
I mean, that's been ongoing, that
You've got
we contacted them about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that it's been ongoing.
Yeah. Has anyone like scraped themselves? Is there anything that we can push at them? Is there any reported?
I'll push that.
I mean, one part of it is actually broken completely, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you had two,
Yeah.
you had a child that actually can now get through and then cut himself or something like that, then maybe that.
I've seen.
But the
some
thing is
walk
that
through.
there are bits,
Yeah.
there's an actual gap where they stop, people can't walk through there, but actual parts are falling down and
Yeah.
they are, it's falling.
Completely broken.
Yeah,
So
so
I sent them photographs of it, so hopefully they'll take a look at it and, because I don't, did you send photos with
Yes.
us or?
Yeah.
And they just completely disregarded it.
Yeah, sounds right.
Would it help if I pushed a little old lady onto it?
Well, I mean, she's agreeable and she won't sue, but you know. Any takers?
I wasn't thinking.
Could be a man, you know. So the other thing is, you might have heard about the car parking charges in Cheshire East.
Yeah.
Coming clean on this, our stupid group, who lots of Conservatives, decided to go and vote with the Labour and Independent on putting the car parking charges up without discussing it with our group. So we've gone absolutely ballistic and we've put a call in about it to full council, which means we're going to contest it. We're going to say there wasn't enough information or there weren't any viable alternatives, because I can't accept that they can put more car parking charges up. So it's going to be led by, she was the leader, Rachel Bailey. So we're all in on this at the moment. We're not happy with it because if you heard about the green space maintenance areas, you're now having to pay for that as well. So you don't really get much for your tax paying. No, I'm not really sure what you're getting at the moment, to be honest, and I'm staggered.
some well-paid senior members of the council. aren't they?
Hmm?
Getting some well-paid senior members of the council.
Oh, have you seen the new chief exec? He's on 190. He's just had a £15,000 increase.
It's had £15,000 increase and plus basically green business paying for it.
It'll be just started.
And the green bin charges, we're not even up to capacity on that. There should be 53% of people to actually make the scheme pay. We're not even up to it yet, so
We won't, because a lot of people are dueling up, so I don't know how they worked out the numbers in the first place.
it's ludicrous. We
Because-
contested it like mad, but it's ludicrous. So I think this council, I'm gonna say it now, you know, we're not quite at a 114 where the council goes into administration and government takeover, but they've been fiscally incompetent and hopefully it won't happen, but we'll see. We're going to have to take it month by month at the moment. So I would make sure as a parish, keep your finances in really good check, because you never know what's coming.
Do you know how many of the green bins are taken up then?
I think the last look that I thought was about 38%. Now it could have fluctuated because it was about a month or so ago.
Right.
The thing that we found was, for an example, in Disley, it was reported by one of our councillors, the green bins, the people who had actually paid for this service, the extra service, they had the green bins emptied, but so were the people who hadn't paid for it, that didn't want it anymore, but they just put the green bins out and they were emptied. So how does that even add up? You know, you paid for the tonnage as well, you're not even working out how
So
much.
when was this, are they supposed to be collected at a particular time, or how is it supposed to work?
Well, I haven't signed up to it because I've got a muck heap, so I don't need to. But
The service hasn't changed. But if you want your green bin protected.
It's sticker, they give you a sticker.
they're supposed to scan it.
I don't.
Oh, is that what, is it got, yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to scan it, but they haven't been provided with the devices to scan it, or they're just not using it. So
That's only on where I live on. People did put up their green bins without the barcode, and they didn't get them taken away.
really, oh, that's interesting.
But
The barcode.
Thank you.
When they're supposed to.
you stick a barcode on the back.
That's interesting to know, because up in Bisley Way, they all got collected. Oh, I'm not going to tell them that, that'll be results in the
Right.
And that's it from me.
Okay, can I just ask about the brick bins? I appreciate that you mentioned Jacob's Way, but Jacob's Way and Dutcher Way aren't that far apart. So is it worth maybe putting in more than two?
Probably, I'd discuss it, to be honest, between yourselves where you think you should. I personally don't know if Millington will get 3 grip bins, that's quite unheard of. But plump for 2, go for the one which is the most important, which I've heard from many people, the orchards is a really important one, to be honest.
But we've got the hill on ours, which is a problem because people
Yeah.
can't get up.
Yeah.
We've got to on the orchards.
But we've got one.
You should go for 2, you know, that's your suggestion.
Well, we've got.
If it came down to, they said, I mean, this is for you to discuss.
There's more houses on the orchards.
But if there's more, if there's only one provided, would you possibly be prepared maybe to buy one if that's a possibility? That might be just something to think about. I'm not saying answer it, but no.
Just for,
The last time I asked that question, I think there were about, this isn't even when it first started, it's about £1,000 or something just for a grip bin. They will have gone up. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, there's more houses on the orchards, so if yours is bad on there.
it's the turn into the orchards that's bad.
I need to find that out. If
You get to that hill
So,
Yeah,
on ours, it kind of went down.
it's, they're basically.
Amanda, do you want to send me a message about that? Just ask us some questions and I'll send it all off and find them, because that's probably the best.
But can I just ask about talking about the orchards, the brick wall on the entrance to the orchard?
I reported that, and
Yeah.
I've had follow-up from Cheshire East. They, I actually did it twice, and then actually rang up them back again to tell them that, I'd give them the details of the person who actually did it, the car, the vehicle, everything, and, I've not heard an update since, but they said that they were looking into it in the new year.
What's the issue? Sorry, because I haven't been aware.
Somebody drove into it.
There's a wall, there's the wall of the 2 gardens as you enter the orchards, and then there's another wall which sort of separates the pedestrian pavement from the road. And in the summer, was it? Somebody reversed or drove into it. And you've now got a fairly sizable chunk of brickwork, which is just kind of waiting to fall on a child, basically.
Oh, so it needs.
It's more dangerous, I would say, than the railings in that it's precarious, you know.
I'll leave with some photos of that.
I've
I'll
got it,
get it chased for you.
I've got a crime number and everything to it, and all the details from Cheshire East, because they've sent it back to me. So I have
That
got it.
should, that if that's, you know, posing a hazard to someone that's going to come down.
Well, yeah.
It's actually the point where.
Is it wobbling at any point?
It's basically,
It probably
if
wouldn't
you imagine the
be- not
corner
locked in.
wall like that, it's just shifted to the right, so it's actually balanced like that. So it is dangerous. I mean, I've just fenced it off as best as I can. But it's got to the point where, I think I was talking to Peter about this, that I've asked the builder to quote, because we've got to do something now. It's that dangerous.
Who's it belong to the wall?
It belongs to
It's
Cheshire East.
it's highways,
Side doors, yeah.
highways.
Send me some photos and send me the details, because it's the first I've heard of it, so I'll jump on that one. I think both.
I've got pictures of it. Okay, I think.
Okay, we're going to go for the picture then.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
I'll ask you to my next one. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Finance. It's a note proposed.
You've all got the background bank reconciliation up to the 31st of 12th, which you can note. Yesterday I sent it out to the 31st of January, but it's too short for you to note that with just your information. So you kept up to date. So as long as everyone's happy with the account up to the 31st of 12th. Yeah.
There's a slight problem on it's the monthly account in December, there's something on in the wrong column,
Okay,
line 22.
what is it?
I think it's tax. And it's in IROS and Lake instead of salary.
Okay, I'll move it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I-22.
Yeah, I'll move it.
That's all. It's just whatever you do with the figures at the bottom, if you make them into something else that it will be.
Yeah, no, it all balances, that's fine, thank you, yeah, I've done that. That's it.
No approval authorised new payment.
Okay, so the new payments that I'd like to make this month are all the tree work that was done at the top of Clover Drive, 3 trees, should all be cleared. These phone me said it's all fine, taking everything away. That's £350. There were 2 separate ones, one was 200, one was 150, because they just kept tumbling one at a time. And then also £15.99 payable to Councillor Knight for some flashing that was bought to do a small repair. So if you're happy with both those. Okay, that's the only 2 outside.
Next item is to consider opening a deposit account with the Unity Bank. As you know, we probably have a significant surplus at the moment, which is earning 0 interest, which doesn't seem prudent.
Yes.
Anyone objecting to opening a deposit account?
No.
Okay,
Okay, how much would you like to keep in the deposit account? As a general, I would say that at the moment you could probably put about 50,000 in there. It is instant, so
It's access bank.
yeah, it's the same bank that you bank with. It's a deposit account. Everything can go across. So I would suggest you put 50,000 in there at the moment, and then delegate power to move it across to the current account to the clerk whenever it's needed.
What's the interest at the moment, please?
On your current account,
No, on the deposit.
2.77. Huge amount. Excellent. So is that okay? Yeah.
so just to confirm, we're opening a deposit account and we're allowing the clerk to transfer money.
Yes,
Required.
absolutely.
Yeah, it will still have to be authorised, but I'll put it on whenever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Everyone's had the reports from the working group. As we got a long agenda today, I don't know if anyone has any comments on the neighbourhood plan working group. Was there in particular you want to raise also?
No, I was just going to say that we met on the 17th and agreed a number of actions around the verification and augmentation of the CWT environmental study. And our minutes are available on the website.
Okay.
And Alison, sorry, the CWT stuff, is that available somewhere? Is that in electronic form?
We've got paper copies.
Okay,
We each have a paper copy.
okay.
The whole plan is, I think, eventually, once it's all verified, because there's a lot of work that we're doing on it.
Okay.
Then it can be discussed on how to make it public.
Thank you.
I think Amanda's got a copy.
I think there is a copy. Can you
Yeah.
guys send that
I
to
need a
you?
copy of it.
There is an online,
Yeah.
copy. Yeah, would you like to know?
I think.
Or a link to it, yeah.
Yes. Okay, again, we also had the minutes of the Village Hall refurbishment working group. I don't know if you have anything you want to raise or.
Basically, we had a meeting and just, we agreed the terms of reference and, repairs to the village hall, and possibility of grants. So that's it.
So the terms of reference need to be agreed by the council. So you've all had a copy of them. If you're happy with the terms of reference that were drawn up by that group, then we'll agree them. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then just note the contents of the minutes.
So, nobody's got any comments on the minutes? Certainly. Okay. Planning matters.
The first one's a lawful development certificate, so unless anybody has any serious concerns or objections.
Meadowcroft.
It's the little lane as you go
towards Style Matters on the left-hand side. So once you've gone past Hall Lane,
Oh, okay.
that collection of houses there.
So bungalows.
So which house? Oh, it's right, it's opposite on those new builds then.
No, basically you go past and there's it's all like little invisible. It's about 100 yards up the road on the left-hand side.
Down the track,
There's just about five, looks like it's about,
Oh, yeah.
about
down there, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Little bungalows.
There's 6 that lived in, and there's one that
There's
has
one
been, there's
so it's
4
all
that
bungalow.
probably because it's got,
Yeah, very well.
it's
There are.
lots of complaints over it, and we've had to deal with that overpass.
Been going on for years.
Yeah, years. Caravan park
Mm.
things.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a building there initially, hasn't it?
Well,
So,
it's still a building there.
Still a building.
Caravan there as well,
Yeah.
I think, and that's the problem that the other residents have been trying to deal with. But that's another time.
It's not anymore, it's only going.
Yeah,
I think the problem is that the lawful development certificate, it says they want it for the extension. But I think the lawful development certificate is for the existing building. Because they're claiming the extension is permitted development. So you only need building regs for that, if it's permitted development.
But some people will go for an
But-
additional certificate,
but I
but
think
they
the-
won't do it under
The
development.
lawful development certificate is for the existing building.
It just says single story extension to side. If you,
It says PD on it, on it, which is permitted development. So you don't need any permissions for it, only building regs.
yeah,
But if you read the government thing about lawful certificate, you have to provide lots of information as to why that building should be declared lawful.
I'm sorry, I don't.
And in the
Is that,
application,
are you concerned about it? Do you feel that it's something you'd want to object to?
I'm concerned on the grounds that the application, there isn't enough information on there other than it says it's a bungalow.
So a lot.
Yet when you read the government guidelines, it says you're supposed to provide lots of information.
So this applicant is asking Cheshire East if they can do this story extension under a lawful development certificate. So they're not asking to do it, they're saying, would we be able to do this under this certificate? So you have to give very little information. And then Cheshire East will usually say, yes, you can, it falls within those parameters, or no, it doesn't.
It just
That's
seems very
explained.
confusing when you read.
It basically means that what they're doing is they're putting in an application to say, is it worth us putting in a proper application in simplistic way?
so there's no.
Yeah, can we do one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
We're going to do it, it's, are we in a position to be able to do this, and then Cheshire
It's
East.
exploratory. And if Cheshire say yes, but there may be some issues, then go ahead and do it. And so basically, it's an inquiry as to whether it's worth actually going there, getting plans drawn up and putting forward.
So it's very rare for a parish council to put comments against a lawful development certificate, but you're just being advised about it. Unless you were very, very unhappy about it.
Anyone unhappy?
There's some inquiry to make.
Yes.
I think so. We shall.
Okay, and then the next one. Film close.
Well, again, it says it's just an extension to the rear. But have you read it?
It's a bit more.
Yeah.
A lot more than that, isn't it? Some state of bungalows, private bungalows, and Peaks and Plains, over 50s bungalows on the front, the whole state. Basically, when you read it and look into it, it wants to turn it into a house. You want to take the roof off, raise the, I think it's a metre, isn't it, higher? And no, there are concerns from neighbours about overlooking and all that, but Just thinking, given the housing stock in Pickmere, that there aren't a lot of bungalows. That'll be one less, won't it? And it will be, I don't know. I'd say detrimental to the street scene that it's in a state of bungalows and somebody leave his house. And,
Well, to the roof line, won't it?
yeah,
I mean, you do get that on the housing estates anyway, don't you, where you get bungalows and houses, so.
But that's a planned.
But that's a bungalow
that's
development, yeah.
planned bungalow.
I mean, the other thing is you've got to consider the people behind it.
Yeah, but behind it is the valley top, yeah,
Yeah,
and the side is the field, but it's like in the lollipop at the end of the cul-de-sac.
I mean, this also comes down to I suppose it's part of what we're doing is maybe plan. Is the fact that we're trying to come up with something that.
I mean, I'm putting a rear extension.
So.
I don't know, because they're looking at it, it's not sympathetic to the local character.
Which is one of the things to do.
But when you,
isn't it?
yeah. If you look at,
Is that what you
But
like
you
to
look
put
at
an
the-
objection in?
if you look at the drawing, it's not just an extension at the rear of the property. Not when you,
Is it only an extension at the rear? It's an extension to the side, rear, front, top.
top, take the roof off and
Extending upwards and outwards.
it's not bungalow if you start putting the staircase up and there's another floor which was the main house, it's not just.
Would Cheshire East object to it though?
Well, it's.
If we passed it, would they object to it?
We do, it's just, we just
Comment.
we comment
As to how it fits in with our view and our feelings of the council.
It's just. We only get looked at in the same way as a resident would do the same thing, if a resident object. It's just something to take into consideration when the planning officer looks at it, makes the decision.
What would you like to do?
I'm looking at it correctly here, I don't know enough about it, I have to say. But if it's to the side, and so we've got the telephone exchange. And then there's a field, isn't there? There's grass,
The whole street is that street.
but it's right at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's not flexible.
It's affecting the house next door.
The next one was to put a comment on objecting that
Yeah.
there's a new upstairs window now on this new development. And
Right,
that's looking straight to their garden and their bedroom.
so I can see that.
But it's the fact that it's been turned into a house from a state of bungalows.
Mm.
That. And we're losing one bungalow in Pickmere. Not many.
Okay, that's fine, I can put a comment in, but that's not a legal objection. You might not like the fact that this bungalow's being turned into a house. So. Bit of a difficult thing, obviously you can make comments. But as a parish council, you also have the ability to object, so if you feel really strongly that this is wrong, then you should put an objection in. So. But I don't know of any legal reason why you can't change a bungalow into what they would argue was a dormer bungalow. I might struggle to find.
It's not necessarily illegal, it's looking, step down through things like neighbourhood plan.
We don't have a neighbourhood plan. We don't have a
But
neighbourhood
that's
plan.
where we're going.
Yeah, but we don't.
But you don't have one,
But
so you
it's-
can't refer to the.
No, I'm not going to say that we refer to it in that, but what I'm saying is one of the things we look at is the character of the village, isn't it? And whether this is changing the character of that area.
In your neighbourhood plan, yes, but you don't.
No, I'm not referring to that, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you.
No, I said
well,
one of the things.
Put in a comment or an objection,
But you need to.
but you need a reason.
Ground.
You need a reason to put in comment or an objection. Now, if you feel that it's not in keeping with the street scene, that's fine, you can put that in. I'm just thinking it would be more appropriate not to stray out into the I don't like it realm, because that's not really what the parish council's there for. But if you have an objection because it doesn't fit in the street scene, that's fine. If Just make it a good objection. I don't.
That's not, that's on the field officers. So this was 18 to the end that starts.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, from my perspective, we have a massive shortage of housing. And we are an infill village, and there isn't anywhere to build. And I mean, looking at the plan, I mean, it doesn't offend me. But I appreciate I don't live in that street, so my thought would be we'd say, could you please take account of what the people on the street.
Yeah.
Which I think is standard,
Yeah.
the parish gets some response.
Just, yeah.
Unless, you know, it's fact that we can find a legal reason we don't like it. It doesn't sound like it. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, we're on
As I
to,
said, got further updates on some of the others we've already commented on as to what's happened about.
Yeah, there's been one objection from a resident,
Oh,
the new window looking into that.
no, I mean, other planning applications that we made comments on and then forced them
In the past.
in the past.
What's that? Sorry.
just talking about, in the past, we've made comment on some other plans. And he's asking about updates on those.
I don't have any updates.
Right, okay.
Sorry,
Well, normally,
I don't have any updates.
when that we have an update saying that this planning application has gone through or it's been refused or whatever, and that any appeals that have gone to Bristol. One of
If I
those,
had any information on the
okay.
appeals, I've put that in. I
Well,
don't have any information. And I'm more than happy to update you on planning, but it is something that councillors can look up themselves.
I think it's just a report back on anything that we've mentioned.
I don't have any feedback on anything
That's all it
that's
is.
gone through now. That would be in.
Okay.
it's just the fact that I've looked up on that there are changes,
On,
some of the things with the comments about.
okay, well, yeah, well,
So, if you want to do that,
Is that something then we should be getting feedback from the planning committee into council, and that could be an agenda item then to give feedback.
Okay.
but
if
first,
you like, it could be an agenda item, so in future going forward.
It has been in the past, because
So-
if the plan changes or something's gone through or something, so it's been
But I
rejected.
haven't heard anything from
No, I'm not saying you
planning
haven't, no.
that suggests that anything from Pickmere has been changed.
Maybe
or
something
changed.
we should do going forward then, that when there is an update on.
Yeah.
If there is an update,
Yeah.
I would include it. I haven't had any since November. I haven't had any put on at all.
Thank you.
are you ready? So on report C, first one, the diversity policy, that was seconded by the clerk. We all have the opportunity to comment on. Be happy to accept that diversity policy.
Give us why is it not the biodiversity?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It is a biodiversity policy, but the standard policy has been written as the diversity policy. So we get templates down from CHALC and from NALC to make sure that we do everything legally, and it's the diversity. I know it doesn't sound right.
But it's something else, doesn't it?
We can make it the biodiversity policy if you prefer. You can change the name of it as long as it ticks all the boxes.
Well, I prefer the interest.
Would you? Should we do that? Okay.
Is that okay?
Is this in line? This is the line, what's the?
Yeah.
Because it's used.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, I must do that, but I'm years ago, I'll say about these.
Okay, can we just have one conversation going? It's really hard, especially when we're streaming, to hear multiple conversations. But,
Biodiversity policy. Planning have one anyway, don't they? SE3, which is bio and geodiversity. And that's how we've used that policy to sort out an appeal. What's happening? That's been used. So it does get used.
The policy has been actioned.
Yeah.
So this
It's just
policy,
wondering if we create a number of biodiversity policy, ours would be the newer one, and would planning then have to take ours and forget their own, or?
So this
It's our-
biodiversity policy is specifically for local government. And the government has said every public sector body must now have a biodiversity policy. And it means that when you make decisions or that when you do anything, you have to take the environment into account. So it's a legal requirement. I mean, you don't have to, you don't have to have one, but
They also read in the policy that it comes with avoiding natural disasters.
well, it's because it'll be for town councils and Cheshire East.
Yeah, so literally, it's the earth. How does that help?
It's flooding areas.
Biodiversity.
It just means that you should think about the environment when you make decisions. It should be part of your decision-making process.
So I think the answer to the question is, it's our biodiversity policy and we need to apply it when we make decisions.
Yeah.
If planning have their own biodiversity policy, they will apply theirs. That's all we can do.
Part of this will come into the neighbourhood plan and they
Yes.
But we need to take into account our biodiversity policy when we look at implementing the neighbourhood plan.
No, but when they're doing the neighbourhood plan, is it then free to be updated when further research comes along and says, we need to include this in, or
Yeah,
when they do?
come back to council with an updated policy.
Okay.
So if as part of the Labour plan, you decide that it's deficient or over prescriptive, then we can discuss it again. Okay. All right, that's approved. That's the decision.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have our new billing charges, looking very good. Presumably no one's going to object to paying less money.
Just have one slight issue. We've just adopted a biodiversity policy and British Gas Light isn't a renewable provider. That's just
It isn't,
partial renewable.
it isn't, that's true. When Peter and I looked at the renewing, we couldn't find actually any renewable energy anywhere near the prices. So
It's only 12 months, isn't it?
it is, yeah.
We need you to 12 months to see what changed and what things are going to
Yeah.
Okay.
You okay with that? Yeah.
That's approved. Okay. So as we can all see, we have an issue with the roof. So we have gone out and tried to get quotes from replacing the roof. The clerk contacted 5 companies, and we've managed to get a quote back from 1. That's better than I do when I try to get workmen to come to my house. But so I guess the discussion today is, do we go forward with the quote we have? I've actually identified another company today who say that they'll give us a quote. They come highly recommended. So we get a second quote.
I'm thinking that amount probably do need to, just to make sure.
I mean, I agree, because I don't know, is that?
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
But we should-
if we've got a second one, we don't have to agree to take the lowest cost.
No.
We just have, but we need to have something to show that we've tried to.
I think you'll find it's a very good copy.
Oh, yeah, but I mean,
if we can get another one, great. I mean, obviously 1 out of 5, yeah.
one of the they've come through with a quote.
Yeah.
And they're, I mean, that joking aside, that shows that they are interested and are willing. But at the same time, if another company comes through and says, actually, it's only £2,500, we have a duty to make sure that we're spending the residents' money directly.
Absolutely.
Are we in agreement that we want it done though? No, I didn't think you.
No.
No, you don't want it done.
I think we should investigate what is the possible cause of that, because that is the one issue at the minute. I mean, John's already done his, when he's done his repairs to the roof, he said
Don't mention any names.
you could get 5 years out of it. So, you know, rather than immediately put a new lid on now until we know what we're going to do with the rest of the building, it's a lot of money. But can we just not investigate what the actual problem is there, where it's coming from? Because I don't think, well,
We have had 2 people, out of the 5, 2 came back and said you need a new roof. And that's because of the roof. Both of the people who came back, one couldn't quote, wasn't in a position to be able to quote for the roof, and the other person was. But 2 out of 5 people have said you need a new roof.
well, we know, yeah.
This sounds like an excellent project to me. What one of our locals suggested, that we involve the village in the project.
But how would we involve the village?
Let them know, it's what was suggested earlier, and let them know this is what we'd like to do. If people have any contacts, and we can help them in whatever way possible.
We do, yeah.
So we go for the whole thing, in other words, because otherwise we're just leaving the future councils to the village. So
I'm just concerned that we're going to be spending a lot of residents' money, and we need to be absolutely convinced that this is the right thing to be doing.
therefore, let's ask.
But also, if 2 roofers have come out and the 3rd one comes out and says we need a new roof, as far as I'm concerned, you know, they're the professionals, we need a new roof.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. As, you know, what are we going to do? Let it all just go to
Well,
that
we
roof?
do need to know exactly as well what are in these quotes, what the quote contains.
Well, we know what the first quote contained because we've seen it on that.
No,
Oh,
no, we haven't.
And it's not in the papers.
Papers.
It's nice to let the village know the history of the place as well. I didn't know it. Piece of the village. Important.
I think for me, it's just we need we need to discuss whether we do, you know, what is the actual problem with the roof, and then decide whether we're going to go with this roof, and then decide which one to, if we go down that route.
Yeah,
But we need to have a process.
So we're trying to get 2 more quotes.
Yeah.
Before making a decision about whether it does need repairing.
But I mean, certainly needs to be done.
Yeah, just need repairing. Definitely, yeah.
Well, I think, personally, I think we need a new roof, but that's beside the point, that's.
I suppose my only thoughts on it is we keep talking about potential plans for this building. If they were to involve works that would require a new roof, it would be a shame if 2 years previously we should put a new roof.
Yeah. That's.
But I don't know if anyone is talking about significant works to this building that would mean we've just wasted money on the roof and then another one.
We don't know yet. We don't know what that's.
You know what I'm saying? That would be my only concern.
Sort of this there.
But
I mean, I think potentially there is going to be a situation where we do need, like Nick says, that there is going to be a need for a new roof at some stage, be it near or in the future. But I think when we're looking at amounts of money like that, we need to have a proper decision-making process. We need to have a proper selection of quotes. And then if, you know, we need to go through the process because we are talking about spending a huge amount of money in terms of residents' money.
Let's not forget it's also an income stream as well. We're ignoring the fact that it gives the village an income.
But perhaps what we could do with temporarily is find someone who can just fix the leak.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. So
We've had somebody in who's, and it's not, it's not bad, it's a roof. 2 people, sorry. But yeah, that's, I mean,
It's also specific part.
if anybody has any roofers who they think will come and quote, because obviously I'm not from this area, so it could well be that you know somebody who would come and give us a quote. Yeah.
Maybe just say something else. The longer we leave it, more chance is that we'll come in here one day and find the roof.
Yeah.
It's already replaced itself.
Costing more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn about insurance too, aren't we?
I've just taken another book today for a children's party. I'd hate it to be. One thing we danced
I think
around.
there's no family in the middle.
Yeah. And this is the worst thing that we've been, that's getting worse since
Okay, so if anybody knows anyone who will come and give a quote, that'd be great. I did try
I
around
think,
this
I think
area.
keep on patching the road is a mistake. That's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
But the last two people said, don't bother.
Don't patch it, yeah, it just needs.
So the next meeting is in March, so about 4 weeks, 3 weeks to try and get another couple of quotes.
I'll send you some.
So if anyone wants to send me any names, that'd be great. I did try around this area, but didn't do very well. I've got this one. Okay,
You got this one.
and you've got number. Okay.
So item 10.4 becomes more exciting.
Oh, right.
So consider the purchase of two heavy duty.
I don't think now, because we're talking on the lines that we're talking about, perhaps a new roof or whatever, but I do believe we should have one dehumidifier that works in here. Because it does help a little bit, and the smell sometimes is quite overwhelming of the damp when you come through that door. I have put for two, but perhaps that's a step too far. I just think it would help if we could get, in a building like this, you're always going to have something, and it does help to have a dehumidifier.
How much are they?
Well, to have a decent size, about 170 to about £170 there.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
That's a good idea.
dear.
Yeah, I think it's.
It's just the smell sometimes when you come in, the overwhelming smell of the
That's
damp.
got a lot better though, since it's been used a lot more.
Yeah,
And it's warmed regularly.
Thing is, I mean, if we get to, even if we have all the work done, it may still.
well, over the winter,
But even if you replace the roof, the floor is still
yeah.
earth. It will still be down.
I think at least, I think one.
Yeah, well, I was saying two, but then when we're talking about the other repairs, I think one might just
Yeah.
get us over it a bit.
Because if we find it, we could always go for a second one if it needs to be.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Again, we're adding costs, don't we?
Yep.
What's the running cost?
I don't know, Peter. I don't know, but I'm just aware of. I'm not good at that. Really, I don't know what the runners
Just
have
give
been.
the price of fuel.
I
just
just
thinking,
feel that
So-
prevention,
So
really,
we
prevention.
need to have a look at how much a year it would cost.
No, that's offset surely by the actual relying on the central heating. Yeah, so,
okay, we are short of time, and I think we just go to a vote as to would you like us to play a video and. Right. So- Okay, item 10.5. Consider a plan for refurbishment of Close Drive playground. Thank you, Shane. That input. Did you want to,
I think everyone's aware of the fact that the playground's in a not very bad state of repair and looks quite sad. So we met with a local playground company who are used by a lot of the parish councils in this area and who have actually already done work on the playground. Did explain that we probably wouldn't have the money to do a complete refurb. So I asked them to split everything down into costs so that you could do something at a time. The first thing is you really need the matting cleaning. It's filthy, it's mucky, it's slippy. That's probably where most problems are at the moment. It's difficult to get someone to come out and do that, really difficult. But I have found somebody who is a landscaper who's local, and as long as you can have access to water, which two of the councillors have very kindly said they will allow, then we can have the matting cleaned first for £360. And really, you need that doing before you start doing anything. We just need it to be a safe area and to get rid of all the slime and the stuff that's built up on there. So that would be the first thing that I would suggest you do. And then after that, It's however you feel that you want to go forward. So I've got quotes for replacing the equipment that you've got there with new equipment. And that's all there, obviously, it's a lot of money. And I also asked him if he would look at doing something in terms of the benches and the picnic tables that are there. Presumably that brownie points for anyone who takes their children and wants to sit down, because at the moment they can't really.
No, there is.
So thought it would be a good idea to clean the matting, then have the picnic table, the cradle seats on the swing, the benches repaired. That's within the budget that you've got at the moment. And then the rest of it, maybe to do with fundraising in the village or, yeah, but, and it's not the most cost effective way to do it piecemeal, but you don't have the money to do it all at once.
Can we add into that then, the fence? There's a great big gap at one end now.
The fence along the back, so between
Yeah,
the playground and the fields behind where there's the large
Yeah.
fishing pond, came down and stormed us.
Oh, okay. Well, I weren't right. That's
and behind the hedge, the fence itself is falling down, it's rotten. And it's falling down. And that's where the lads were going through and building their den and wrecking it.
So we've got a hawthorn hedge on our land, and then a fence which has collapsed, and then there's basically a hawthorn hedge on the farmer's land. And the fence is in that pretty narrow gap between the two hedges.
oh, that's
Can we get any thanks in, Shelley? Have we already paid for some?
you may have some somewhere.
But there's now, not only is that fence down, where the end of that fence meets the house next door, they've had to replace their fence.
Yeah.
And there's now a gap.
There's walks
A child certainly could walk
Look into the,
into the field.
right and left.
on the road.
Is that junior?
Yeah.
And then all
But there's now a gap, and the other side of it is a bit of old barbed wire. It's a pond, and then the pond.
and then behind the hedge that is there, as I say, it's all beginning to fall down.
All the way along.
It's all the way along.
Well, you can look at that, we'll be looking at the.
Okay, yeah, I can go and have a look at that tomorrow and take some pictures and get some quotes for that.
Well, yeah, if I look at the matting. We're talking about having clean. Between the hedge and the swings. You stand on the edge of it, it's all going down.
Between the swings and mesh.
At that.
So at the end of the swing.
Yeah.
That's undermined.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You stand on it.
behind it's
And
up and down.
it just bends up and down like that. So it won't be long before it snaps off. Or
So the ground needs.
somebody decides to get
But
hold of it.
somebody needs to have a look at it. And then get it.
Okay, we did have a look at all the matting while we were there, so that must be something new as well. It must have been what, 4 weeks, 3, 4 weeks ago. That I went there, so.
It was, yeah, it was on the report.
Yeah, but
Oh,
anyway, okay, yeah.
okay, so item number 1 is phase 1, that we get the area cleaned, remove the moss, the biggest risk. Okay, moving on. Have we got consensus or do you need to take a vote?
I took some photographs for a different reason, a couple of weeks ago, and there's a broken something there. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what it was.
Oh, that's the.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
The picnic then, the picnic table.
Okay.
Okay, so.
All right, so phase 1 is approved.
Yeah.
It's all smashed.
Yes.
Give the vote.
It's,
Sorry, phase 1.
Yeah, leave the matting.
Yeah,
Okay. The phase 2 would be to,
phase 1. Just the power of
phase 2 would be the repair of the benches, the replacement of the cradle springs, which the baby swings. I'm wondering what a cradle spring is.
Would it be something possible, you know, for the actual stand, the frame of the swing? for perhaps putting out to the village and painting. I know that Simon had it done at some point.
We did discuss that with the guy who came round. So the problem is is actually very difficult to do. If you don't use the right paint, you don't use the right preparation, you'll actually end up rusting your screen.
Making it worse than it is.
So his advice was, if you haven't done, well, leave it or get a professional to do it. No,
Okay, all right. No, it was just a thought.
because I was all, yeah, some,
Yeah.
it will be not too.
That's why the swings are one, one that we haven't done anything on.
Okay, so are we okay to
Yeah.
do those repairs and make it useful?
So this is phase two.
Yeah.
This is the 2249.
Yeah.
And this is like for like repairs in terms of the cradle seats.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
everything else you looked at was intact.
Yeah.
So basically going on screen them.
I'm okay with that, but again, I'm just. £2,000 for the second quote.
Do you?
Well, I just think when we're spending a bit more like this, I mean, when it's sort of £300-400, I don't think that's a number. I mean, I agree that they need doing.
We standing orders don't say you need a second quote, but you would like to go for a second quote.
I like to think that if we're spending a large amount of money, with fire company. I've no problem with doing it. I think, yeah, we need it done, but I just think. I'm just wary of just saying.
I think a lot of these places, though, they're very, very stringent on set fees and things like that. I don't think there's lots of room for negotiation.
No, I agree, but I just think it'd be, I think.
I don't think
when
it's going to say,
we're
well, you quoted
spending
me £2.5 to
we
do
need
it for two and I'll take it. I don't think they work
No,
like
but
that.
this is not the point. It's not the point about taking the cheapest quote, it's to looking at a comparison, isn't it? So we can actually say, yes, we have looked at this. We are finding someone who can do it for £2,000.
Well, it would probably be different equipment because the different play companies, aren't they? That's how you find it.
Okay, yeah, so again, to move it on, the first thing is that we agree that this needs to be done.
Yeah.
The second thing would be, do we think we need a second quote for this amount of money, considering that our agreed standing orders do not require it?
I think we do. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so those that want to go ahead with that second quote?
Are these things that we're replacing currently damaged? Is this the cradle swing seat that's damaged?
Are they damaged?
Yes.
All right, yeah.
Go ahead with the replacement.
Oh, we did it again.
So is this from?
Can I just explain this quote, just before you make that, this quote is from the company that has done work on this playground before. And that is well known in this area and is used by a lot of parish councils in this area and is localish in terms of, and that's why I went to this company. So I did ask around. So it's not just in case you're wondering, it's a company who have worked on your playground before. In fact, I think they put the equipment in. Did they say put the equipment in? And so that's why I just went forward with this company rather than getting 3 or 4 companies in, because it's not. I know it seems like a lot of money, but it's not a large amount of money for the playground. It's incredibly expensive. Yeah, playground equipment. So I haven't just gone to anybody. I have asked around from other parishes and spoken to somebody who is well versed and has worked on your playground before.
I understand that, and I agree that we do need the work doing. I mean, but I just think that we need.
Okay, so
I can do.
So I'm just concerned about the idea of delaying a repair to a small
Yeah.
child swing seat
It
which
doesn't
was delayed
have
by
to
a
be
month.
done.
No.
No, the annual inspection that you had said it's fine, but it is where it will need to do with, it's not dangerous.
Taxi. It's not dangerous.
We're not going to have a child trap a hand
No.
in a sharp bit or anything like
No.
that.
But it's been there for 20 years.
And the other thing I'd point out is that the parish council have been discussing upgrading this playground for years. And when I was trying to get elected,
Exactly.
it was not probably one of the number one things that children brought up was the.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
I disagree with you, Nick, because the bench is the metal that just collapsed on the floor. Kids running around, easy to trip up on that. Very easy. I've got a
and it's
picture.
rusted.
Yeah.
It's rusted.
Alright. But we've all agreed it needs to be done. So, can you just take a vote on those people that don't think we need another quote to action this? Do not
We
need
don't
another
need,
quote.
yeah, just go ahead with it.
Yes.
I'm happy to go ahead with that.
Okay. I thought that's what it was. And then on phase 3, which is the more expensive stuff, I did have suggested, so during my visit to the neighbourhood plan meeting, was a nice list of companies in Pickmere, which there are more than I thought. And I wondered whether we could perhaps ask for companies or individuals if they would be interested in sponsoring any of these items and have those done.
To sponsor an item or just donate an amount of money.
Yeah.
It sounds like a nice idea.
So,
So I think that's a list of companies.
Right.
that's my budget.
You have done.
Not a complete list of companies, but almost.
Well,
But
Well,
see,
there is damage.
well,
okay.
that's when you update the companies.
All right, so
Yeah.
Go from there. For the
okay.
the multi-tower. It was suggested by, when I actually went round.
You can just ask.
Sorry.
So, Jane's suggesting that as well as asking local companies and people to sponsor individual items, that we start a GoFundMe page for this.
Start with the playground. Playground refurbishment, I think I did, why not?
But that's a method by which companies can give via that.
Or individuals. A few people, when I actually went round, actually said to me, if we've been asked to support this, we're going to give freely. So
I suspect that lots of local residents who've been here 20 years, brought their kids up in the park. And would be, and probably think about grandkids now, and would probably
I
like
was very lucky.
it.
My daughter was 19,
Not quite
so
bad.
she, when it was new, so we were very lucky.
Okay, so we can have things like the farm club springing cap, or people could donate. Okay, so we'll review the GoFundMe page.
Okay, yeah.
And we will ask, we will use the list from the neighbourhood plan to contact companies, ask them.
Yeah.
If they were interested in donating.
Just, sorry, one little issue on this. The picnic benches are actually at the far side of the play area from the
Yeah,
gate.
Yeah.
I just wonder whether we should have some sort of child-proof latch on the gate, so that parents could be sitting at the bench over there and their child can't run out onto the road. I don't,
It used to be that way.
Did you? Not in my time here, I don't think.
Yeah, the minute I walk past the shop gate.
I was showing it as well, but it is only just on a gate on the spring. A small child could pull it open and run out. I wonder whether we should be.
Yeah,
do
maybe.
you want me to check and find out? I don't have that information on that, or whether, okay.
But even if it's not legislation, I just think we.
I can't have one is all.
Oh, I see what you mean, sorry.
Yeah, rather than.
No, new legislation says you have a barrier.
Okay.
So if the gate's open, you can't run straight out because of a physical barrier, either inside the playground or on the pavement outside to.
All right, so we'll maybe get a quote and then.
Sorry to add to that.
And then the next item we discussed was whether we should get a quote for repairing the fence. I have to pop down tomorrow. I have so much of this material that I need to do. I'll see if I can.
Take some pictures.
Yeah, we probably need to.
There's a lot left up in the play area anyway.
Matchsticks, you mean?
Yeah,
Well, no,
Right, okay.
it's all smashed up.
big lumps, but the nails sticking out of it and everywhere. Scrap bike there as
I
well.
think it was being pulled down again the other day, wasn't it?
Oh,
There was a comment on
Yeah.
Facebook about it. Somewhere.
So I picked them all up and put them behind the gate and the bike
Well, the, already go down to the, play path and, it speaks to children concerned. But yeah, it's slightly frustrating then to my filter spends, still comes and rips them down. But I still have plenty of fence material, so we're okay at the moment. We can't. To discuss holding a jumble sale.
So, following on from what we've just been speaking, I wanted to hold another jumble sale in April to donate money to the playground. So if there's a GoFundMe page, it would be ideal because it would just go straight into it. So basically, that's why I wanted to hold a jumble sale. Not unfortunately, it's good that we have pizza man, but you need a day to set up. As you know, we were here Friday night late and it was on a Saturday, so I'm looking at doing it on a Sunday so that I can set up on the Saturday. And I am requesting to have the village hall free.
And what date?
So it would be the Sunday, the 28th of April.
So,
We also Saturday and Sunday.
Well, yes, but maybe Saturday afternoon.
Unless you do a party.
Yeah, if I got a party in the morning or whatever, but then I'd I'd have to be here at midnight, I suppose, but basically, I just thought it'd be a good way of raising some money towards the playground.
could I make a suggestion on the Friday night thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that pizza man would be more than happy if people were coming down to get to sell for a jumbo sale.
If they have people eating, they don't want
They have big-
belly clothes and stuff.
So I think maybe one week you'd say,
Yeah.
there won't be any eating in the village hall. But we balance that with the fact we're going to get more customers. Because
Yeah,
you
that actually is a good idea.
I'll speak to Steve.
That's a good idea.
I will speak to him then and hold it up on the 27th, but if that can't happen, if he's not happy about it, and he's renting it, so it's up to him. But,
Eventually there'll be a lot of.
yeah, there will, but
Yeah.
in that case, then I would hold it on the 27th.
Okay, but maybe talk to them. But I think
But what I'm saying is, can I pass it through council to do one of those days?
Yeah.
To do the jumping? Okay.
Do you need 2 days, eh?
Pardon?
You need 2 days.
Well, no, because if I can do Friday night, yeah, I
so
can do-
Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday.
yeah,
And that's fine. So,
Give yourself a leeway.
yeah,
Set up.
yeah.
and we'll ask Peter now.
Maybe we got a big job last time as well. April, we said.
Well, that's why you probably need the Sunday
Yeah.
for clearing that.
I think
You
you should
probably
plan
better.
it for the whole weekend, really.
Yeah,
Okay.
27 to 28, so
April, yes, well, it's going to be the 27th over 28th.
Yeah, I think if you could get a Friday night
Yeah, I'll speak to Steve.
and then set up Sunday, you're right, Nick, and that's Sunday.
I'll definitely come down and buy pizza. That's us.
And help sort jumble.
Love that job. Okay, so everyone okay with that? Anyone want to object? Consensus, excellent. Nick? Feedback from PCC.
no, we've got lots of way.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. So next item is to discuss clearing the pathway from Cluttercup Way. So we've received a quote. £160 from the company. And there's also a proposal that we ask volunteers to undertake the work. I have to say, personally, I'm not a fan of using volunteers. I think that puts us at slightly greater risk. As somebody who owns a chainsaw, I could have gone down and chainsawed the trees. But if I hurt myself,
Sure.
it would cost the parish a lot of money. So that's my thought. I'd rather go with the company, but happy to hear what everyone else has to say.
But my thoughts are, if there's big things like chopping back, some of the bushes there are as big as trees, things like that, I think probably it's better and safer getting a professional in to do. And then going forward in terms of what we're going to do with that space, whether it's planting and things like that, that's maybe where you get volunteers involved in things that are less involved. But maybe someone in professionally to come and clear it, and then we give us a.
And then
a
you
kind
have
of a
like this to keep it cut down.
Well, potentially, yes, but or maybe it needs an annual put back or whatever that paid for, but that would be my thought is.
Is that, I mean, actually, I missed the wildfire presentation, but is that an area that,
It was an area that I'd sort of earmarked for a while.
The only problem is it's regularly fed, shall we say, by the local dogs. And for the wildfire meadows to work, it's got to be really nutrient poor soil. And I suspect that has had so many years of lots of good nutrients, I think it would probably not work.
It does beg the dogs, actually, the way it is now, or we hope, that if it was smarter.
No, absolutely, yes, yeah, but whether there's several years of nutrition in there, that's going to be a problem.
It's quite a shady area.
Well, yeah, it's shady. It also has a lot of quick growing plants, and whatever, how much you cut them back, they would dominate in that area. So it could be a problem unless we look particularly at maybe some of them, something like bluebells or that type of plant that thrives in a shady wooded area. So we need to think very carefully about the plants that we put in there, which would actually thrive. I mean, bluebells are always a good one because they like shade. But it's also, you look at the road down there, that's an example. So it would be a case of clearing back and maybe looking very carefully about the planting that we put in there.
which 20 years ago there were.
And they like damp, cold places like that.
And rough still are.
Okay.
Nowhere near,
Yes, many.
nowhere near as many as it used to be.
Can I just bring one thing up?
Sure.
We did have a look at this, and we did go along and have a look. I'm unclear from the quote what trees he was going to cut down, because there is a dead tree that is really overgrown with ivy. One side of the pathway as well doesn't belong to us. That is the flats boundary fence. And also on the other side, at the back of the houses, there's a lot of ivy and undergrowth that is really holding their fences up. Have we been and spoken to the residents that live there and said, this is what we're proposing to do? Like where the laurel trees are, what's the proposal for them to take them down, cut them out?
No, but we can look at that. This is only if you want to clean the pathway and a rough idea. I mean, the quote's that much,
Yeah,
but
right.
that you have some information to decide on what you'd like to do.
Yeah, but I do, maybe we should be speaking to the people whose houses are there, because what I didn't want to do then, if we went ahead and volunteers or anything, is go and rip something down and it rip their defence down. Because that would be a nice finger pointing exercise, wouldn't it?
It's another reason.
But one thing that I have done as well is, someone approached me from Winsham who had seen it on our notice board, and she gave me a company, fellow's name at the Mersey Forest. And apparently the Mersey Forest will come out, have a look, and will fund you to plant trees. They will provide the trees, and they will provide funding for the trees to be planted, which could then as well enable the land to be paid for being cleared.
I think surely though, planting trees would actually be worse for the
Depends
residents,
what type of.
for the residents who live there. Could you imagine trees growing? And
It
then
depends what type of trees.
I'm just thinking any tree at the back of your garden, if you've got, not much light.
So you could have sort of, fairly small fruit trees or something, couldn't you? Apple trees or something that aren't gonna, sort of dwarf varieties or whatever. I'd be interested in the idea of, as Alison pointed out, it is the safe route to school routes. And whether involving Winchell Primary School in a project, to involve the children, because a lot of the children, the children walking down that route are all Pickmere children, aren't they?
Yeah.
And whether involving
And they're all walking to Wincham.
so whether they're having some involvement from them.
It's
Part
an
of
involvement.
it at least.
Yeah, it would be involvement then where we are involving the residents of Pickmere in something. Giving them
And
an
the
opportunity,
children,
especially the youngsters.
Might be good, because you can see that Wincham Primary School already have some gardening things,
Yeah.
don't they, in their playground area, so.
And you see, the path can be cleared by volunteers itself, because like it's overgrown by that mulch, it needs scraping out and clearing. That could be cleared.
You just mean where the grass is growing onto the
Yeah.
path itself?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
If you go to the Lions Salt Work, they've got a beautiful
Yes.
butterfly garden there, you know, which is what I thought, but I don't know whether all them plants would grow down there, and I don't know enough about that type of, it's very shaded for sure.
That's the problem.
You've got, I mean, it's like buddleias, that type of thing, butterfly plant, aren't they?
It's whether or not they would grow there.
And they grow anywhere, buddleias,
Yeah.
even in the gutter outside the post office.
But it is very shady. You can imagine a butterfly garden might need a bit more sun, and the shade is all really coming from, as you said, plant side,
Yeah.
really. Even if we chopped all of our trees and everything laurel down,
Mm.
I think there'd still be quite a lot of shade from the plant side.
I think the thing we need to know is what that 650 entails.
560.
560 was,
No.
sorry.
If we're all in agreement that you would like that to look tidier than it is at the moment.
Yes.
Then how about if I go away and do a much more in
Yes,
depth?
please.
Yes,
That'd be great.
yeah,
On what you can actually, there's a lot of space down there.
Yeah,
There is. So
There is.
exactly what we'll be cutting back and then what that would leave you with and what you could potentially do. Yeah, bring that back to next month.
Thank you.
No.
Okay. So, much heralded or from PCC.
I lost it. That just a second.
John, like.
No, it's okay. But listen, I've just taken it down. Yeah. There you go. So, okay, so I think at the start of November, the first meeting in November, when I wasn't actually here, I was nominated to attend the Police and Crime Commissioners meetings. This was a follow-on from the public meeting that was held in Wincham last year, and basically we had John Dwyer, Police and Crime Commissioner, and some of his staff, and then we had Sergeant from Macclesfield Police and PC from Northwich, and then we had some representatives from Cheshire East, Cheshire West, and Chester, and then we had parish councillors from Pickmere, Wincham, and Marston, and we also had station manager from Cheshire Fire and Rescue Service. And there were no formal minutes from the meeting, but I sort of just collected some notes really to share with the council, which I have shared electronically, but on the site. And basically it was a very useful meeting. All the local parish councillors who were in attendance were able to speak about what the local issues were around the lake, parking issues, the antisocial behaviour. It was clear there was a difference between Pickmere, where littering and social behaviour and parking were one thing, whereas in Wincham, although parking is an issue, it's less so, but they're having some really awful problems with shoplifting from the spa and really abusive behaviour towards the staff in there. But obviously quite an overlap. There was a discussion around the Wincham party field, as it's become known, and so there were some plans from the Police and Crime Commissioner to take forward discussions with the landowners there. I believe there's some issues around joint ownership and possibly a church being involved in ownership, so it's a little bit difficult to work out who can be responsible for controlling access to that land. But hopefully we'll hear more about that at the next meeting. In terms of parking issues in Pickmere, there's a gentleman called Richard Christopherson from Cheshire East, who's I think part of their safety team.
It's head of safety.
Yeah, community safety. And he was talking about a previous visit he'd done to Pickmere with one of the highways officers from Cheshire East, looking at the issues around parking. unfortunately, they seem to have come up with an idea of having, rather than sort of controlling parking as much as maybe we would like, they had an idea of having dozens, maybe 100 or so designated visitor spots scattered around the whole village. So we made it clear, and we were backed up by Wincham in that. That wasn't really what we were looking or hoping for.
Yeah, could be in outside your house.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They said they had to, the actual words, and this wasn't from the meeting, that they had to, we had to find places within the village for visitors to come to. That's what was said.
but we pointed out anyway that that wasn't really what we wanted, and Wincham agreed, because what obviously we need to do is reduce the large volume of visitors on some of the hot days, and I've pointed out that that system would encourage more people to drive up and down every road in the village looking for one of these available spots. It was going to make things worse, not better. So Richard Christopherson said he would take that back to Simon Wallace at Highways and tell him that that wasn't really going to be agreed by the residents of Pickmere. He did say though that he was under the impression there was some funding had been put in the budget. He was a little bit vague around that, but there was something in place that might be able to be taken forward. There was also a discussion around public space protection orders. It wasn't quite clear, the police even weren't quite clear whether a public space protection order could be used on the IROS, because they weren't clear, is it public land or is it private land? Private land, they thought, but they were going to come back to the next thing with some clarity around that. And then we also discussed the case that was in the paper a while ago about the person who challenged their parking tickets that they got. I think they got it on the entrance to the orchards or just near there, and they successfully challenged that. One of the police officers who was aware of the case said that basically those blue signs that say they are police signs are not actually police signs. Police have no knowledge of them. They think it must be old council signs, and they don't actually hold any legal standing. So although they say you might get in trouble if you park here, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll get in trouble if you park there.
They've been there over 20 years.
Yeah. So basically that person who got the ticket, I think it wasn't that they didn't bother defending that case. They made an active decision that they didn't think they could defend that case, and probably that ticket shouldn't have been issued. So that's why that didn't get. But obviously that does potentially, and we made clear to them that has potential issues for us going forward into this year, of whether or not tickets will be issued and whether or not they're going to be enforced and what people think about that. And then one last thing to say was there was very clear agreement across everyone in the room that we any planned changes around parking in yellow lines and restrictions would be coordinated between Cheshire West and Chester and Cheshire East, and also between Pickmere and Marston, so that we don't just generate it probably get shut down the road to somebody else. I think, when the yellow lines went in on Earls Lane, we were a bit concerned it was going to just shove things this way. I think they're similarly concerned that if it's not coordinated, that we're all just going to just push the parking problem further and further out. So, and that was about it, really. There were some actions from the meeting, which I don't know if they're in the public minutes or just actions from the meeting. Yeah. They're basically, as I've laid out there, I don't think there was anything else other than Simon Wallace from Cheshire East Highways was going to be invited, as was a highways person from Cheshire West and Chester to the next meeting. I think that's probably about it.
So the other part of this item is to just get approval for police and crime commissioners use the village hall for future meetings free of charge.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's sort of for us anyway.
Yeah, quite.
Will he be around then? Will he be around then? Why?
Oh, the elections in May, I see.
Oh.
We've got another, is there a date for a meeting?
Oh, that, and if you read that, you ever see Cheshire Live?
Has to resign.
He's been asked to resign.
Oh, I haven't seen that, no.
Well,
Yeah, because he was did something inappropriate.
very inappropriate.
Really?
I thought it was about 100%, but no, I'll look that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was an MP, one of Cheshire's MPs that has asked him to resign. And others are saying his position is untenable. He said he was sexist, misogynistic and victim blaming. So,
Okay.
Well, it's, well, let's hope he doesn't. He's working, he's really wanting to work on
that was
it.
it was.
Uh,
I know, allegedly.
Yes, good word, allegedly. Thank you. All right, so we'll allow that. Obviously, the police and crime commissioner will be there. It may not be the same person. It doesn't matter who it is,
The office will be there.
they can use it.
Shame we can't do it.
Okay, charging parking at the IROS, the contract from a parking company has been circulated for everyone to take on.
I think there's lots of different angles, isn't there? Like, you know, there are lots, and that gentleman over there was quite right, you know. I personally think it's a good idea, but also I don't want to be responsible for shoving a problem up the thing.
Which is exactly what Nick had just done.
But I do think it's a very good idea. I think in respect, if we can coordinate it with the rest of the village, I'm not, you know, I'm not saying we're not taking that into consideration, but I do think these people that come for the day, you know, if you had a 2-hour limit on it where they had to go away.
There was.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but if there was, you know, it has to work in.
It's got to work in parallel with other things in the village.
Permit parking or yellow lines or whatever.
Well, I don't think anyone would know until we try it. It's an interesting thing, but everybody who's been down, whether it be the police, as in Cheshire East came down, we've had the Cheshire Wildlife Trust down. All of them have said you don't go anywhere without having to pay. And I think personally, for me, it's a no-brainer, and I think we should be charging by the hour.
Are we all aware of the detail of this, how it works?
It was,
No?
To the same level.
Well, I've read, yes, like, I'm not clear from the SLA. There's been talk of allowing local residents to be able to park without paying. So that's true, but how does that work?
so.
Not on the car park. If we were to charge for those 14 spaces, that's everybody. Whoever parks there.
No, in the proposal, it says that we can issue
I beg your pardon.
a permit.
Okay.
So anyone who is a resident of Pickmere could have a permit for their car. So they wouldn't have to pay.
You can, it's not, I don't think it's a permit, it's, you go in and stop the driving. Yes. But there's, yeah, but there's a charge for that.
So my concern about that is that it's £5 per permit per year.
Right, so it says besides, any vehicles pre-authorised to park on the site, and we have to supply a permit to the driver. All drivers in possession of permits must display the permit clearly in the front windscreen of the vehicle whilst parked. If they fail to display their permit, then they will be ticketed. If we then ask them to cancel that, then there's a charge to us. So they do allow for resident parking. If a resident parks across 2, then they will be ticketed.
Yes, but the permits are £5 per permit per year. Well, wouldn't somebody be able to pay that themselves?
If they want to park.
Why should they?
Why?
Somewhere.
No, they should be, it's up to five.
They're already paying a bit.
I'm not saying that, I'm saying that I wouldn't.
You may not say there are a lot of people who would, I think, but as, you know, as this is their area, they shouldn't have to pay.
Well, it is our area, Simon, and what's happening to our area? Ask yourself that.
But not by local residents.
No, quite.
So
So
they shouldn't
we have to
pay.
do two things.
They shouldn't have to pay for people coming in from
I'm not
outside.
saying I'm on a different taxes. It's a small part of it. We need to take part of our village. Take control of our village.
So, I mean, we've been talking about this paying for parking, and I'm all in favour of trying it out, but only when we sorted the other problems. And I think, as the gentleman down there said, so if you go to Marbury Park, you park in Marbury Park and you pay because there's nowhere else. But there's about 3 spaces on the road around the corner, and there's always someone parked there because people don't want to pay, so they'll walk those 200 metres and park there. In Pickmere, it's actually harder to get a space at the lake than it is to park in the street.
Yes.
So I just don't see the psychology of why people would go down to the lake and pay, even if it's only 50p or £1, when they can park on Mere Lane if it's the right day, or in the orchards, or on Clover Drive for free and just walk down. It's not a long walk. So, to my mind, yes, it might generate a bit of money, but I think it's going to make parking situation for residents of Pickmere worse, unless you've sorted out the parking situation in Pickmere and then bring in charges.
Yeah.
When we talked about it, somebody suggested, well, we could try it out and see how it goes. But this SLA is a 24-month contract. And if you want to come out that contract early, it's £500 per month. So if we did it for a month and then said this isn't working, it's £11,500 to go out of the contract. If we don't want to pay that money, we're stuck in the contract for 2 years. So we could make everything worse in regards to parking around the village and be totally stuck with it.
Okay, may I answer that, please? Or anybody else jumps in? With respect, that's looking at it from a rather negative view. My view is that we need to take control of our village with a number of visitors coming down. We don't mind visitors coming down, but they need to behave themselves and park appropriately. So chicken and egg. We make people pay to park on our parking bays, and that again forces the police, the authorities, to do something about it's a black and white. They can't park anywhere else. We've got to start somewhere. If we wait for the authorities to do something, we'll still be talking about this next year. Meanwhile, we're on a summer of chaos. So then there's the more subtle approach of taking control back into the village's control rather than the visitors. Because it's those few days, although they're only a few, it's mayhem. It's a misery for everybody, isn't it? So do we say to people, if you want to come here, there's the 14 spaces, maybe 2, we can have another 2 if we try out. You can park there, but you've got to go a lot further out if you want to come down to down here. We also have to do something about the arrows at the same time to tell people that's private. You're not in there, you can't go in there. So the simple sign, the gate on there, does that. Taking control back of the village. That's what we're here to do, to protect the villages.
It's not interesting, but first of all, the signs don't work, people ignore them. There's some people do, fair enough, I'm not going to say that, but a lot of people don't. The second thing is, you're saying parking and now you tell them to go elsewhere. Well, that's easy, they'll park just up the road because, you know, talking to a lot of the people around there, I've been up and down that road for many years and the comment is, well, I'm going to park here. Well, there's a likelihood you're going to get fined. Well, there's a likelihood I won't. And if it does, well, 30 quid between 5 of us for a day's parking, fine. But if they have an option as to whether to park there potentially for free or park down there and pay, they'll park for free and gamble on it. That's what they've done all the time. And the trouble is, I think when we're talking about the fact of having paid parking, for people, and we're talking about £5 a head for people to have a permit. I think it's unfeasible, and I think until the rest of the situation is being dealt with, it's untenable.
Equally though, I've spoken to lots of swimmers who actually said that they'd be very happy to pay.
A lot of them are, yeah, but they're not.
They want to pay, you know, they don't want to come here for a freebie. Well, I know they are, but they don't want to come here for one. So that they would only be too happy to pay. And I think you'll find that the people who will park anywhere, wherever. Do you know what I mean?
I agree, so.
But we get an extra 14 people parking where they shouldn't be, who don't want to pay. Is that going to make a big difference when opposing that? We're showing people that we're taking back charge of our village. This is our village, not theirs. I don't think we are. I don't think they are.
I think we're not. I think by charging, and you know, I think people will pay. I do think people will pay. Because we get that many, they still go around the village and park all over the place, don't they? I think those spots will be full, and I think we'll get payment. In the long run, maybe we can pay for a warden or pay for something, because we get something from that, don't we?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
90%, 95%.
It's
Parking fees,
not going to make us rich.
10% of any fine.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, that might pay for a warden. I don't know, it's just like,
I mean, I partly agree with Chris that it's actually letting people know that when they're coming there, you know, that it's a footpath and a walk there. But even those car parking spaces actually belong to this village. They don't belong to Cheshire East. They belong to us. Yes, but the perception is out there that they don't. So once you start getting the fact that, oh look, the Pickmere Parish Council have put charges in, maybe they do own it. Maybe they do. Maybe it isn't somebody else. That's my thoughts. But you know, like it's got to sink into people that this is not a free for all. It does belong to somebody, and it isn't Cheshire East, Pickmere Parish Council.
I'm afraid I'm with Nick on that until we can solve what else is going on in the village, we're being unfair to residents.
I see both sides.
Yeah.
And I can see, but I still think, unfortunately, the residents are still going to suffer, whether we charge or not, until we can sort out. Until somebody agrees to put in permit parking or yellow lines or whatever. And I just feel we should get some money. Because if we can pay for a warden, I don't know. I mean, this has been going on for years. Well, it's just over the last few sort of COVID since it's got worse.
COVID. All of these other places though, Cheshire Wildlife Trust came down, they said, why aren't you charging? We had Cheshire East come down, they couldn't believe that we're not charging. They don't understand that we're still giving free spaces. They said nowhere that's got natural beauty.
Quite agree, charge for it, but not at the expense and the cost of the residents.
So what would the cost of it be?
Well, you speak to the people on the orchards then when they can't get out of the drives because people have and Clover Drive because people have opted to park there and walk because they don't want to pay or whatever.
So that is the situation now.
Yeah.
But
it's not quite. So if you could have 14 people come down and park at the lake for free and have nobody parked on any of the roads. And then when it goes above 14, that's when people start to park on the other roads.
Oh.
Once there's charges, you might have person number one think, well, I'm not going to pay to park when I can just park 150 metres up the road. So you might every day have up to 14 people who are now parking on local roads instead of in their spaces. I'm not saying no one's going to pay to park. Of course, some people will pay the money, but the psychology of it is just nudging, shifting more people to
Would you pay if it was you who was driving down?
What if I was going somewhere else?
Yes.
No, quite possibly not. No, probably don't park on the road.
Would you?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I go into Knutsford, I don't go and park and pay in Knutsford. I park on one of the roads on the way and walk in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw money away. Plus, why would I drive down the little road to Knutsford? But anyway,
Yeah.
but that's my other concern is that I'm a fit, able person who's late. People who are less able-bodied are going to have to pay to visit.
The other question I've got to ask is, how does that work with the gate closures on the timings? I mean, if someone's paid for a day's parking, and they want.
It's not the day's parking, it's by the hour.
Okay, so say they paid for 8 hours parking, and at 4 o'clock you want to close gates.
Well, at 4 o'clock, you're closing the gates. They know that you can only go through them gates till 4 o'clock.
So basically, we really haven't got 14 places. We've got 6, is it? 7 hours?
But yes, but we close the gate every
Yes,
day.
we've only got 7.
It goes back till 10.
I know, but what I'm talking about is realistically, for half the year, we've only got half the parking spaces for half the day.
So we're talking about 8 spaces then.
Yeah.
On the disability thing, we can set it so that people with a blue badge can park for free if we choose to do so. It's not the recommendation of the parking company, but it can be done.
No, I don't think parking companies, they're not subsidised by chance.
Yeah.
Hospital level within.
Well, they've got people can actually park on the road, so I don't see that we should give our spaces to those either, because as long as you put your blue badge and your meter reading card, there's nothing that you can park all around. So I don't think that it's a necessity to have a blue space. Just my opinion.
So we have to get somewhere with this. So, I mean, do we understand what people are saying? Personally, I would say I don't think 14 cars makes a difference. However, the one thing that I'm unhappy about is, and I did miss it, is charge for permit parking. I don't think residents should have to pay to use their own spaces. And if it is £5 and we can't renegotiate that,
Yeah, I think
for this company, but I know the other company we talked to, that wasn't the case. It was free for residents, and there were no charges for public parking. So I don't know whether we want to take a vote.
I suspect that clause is more to do with other clients. Because this was, they didn't really want this job. It was all right then, because it's so small. Most of the ones, I don't know, maybe 50, 100, I don't know. So that's probably where that clause more likely applies. I suspect if we suggest that it doesn't work for us, we'll take it out.
But based on the fact that if they took it out, will we go ahead?
Well, I think that's a vote for council. In my case, I wouldn't vote for it if it wasn't coming in. I think maybe that's well, I think we did a decision in principle. Do people think that we should look at parking and charging for our parking spaces? Just generally, without any, we'll get to conditions. Is that generally something that we as a council want to do?
I think we should.
Okay, there's a one say that we should charge under certain conditions.
It depends on the, do I think we should look at charging in the future? Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nobody's saying that, but we shouldn't. But
but not while it potentially makes the parking situation worse in the village because there's control elsewhere.
I mean, that's a bit like a problem with that. You can see the 14. But I don't think it will be 14 because I think there'll be 14 people paying. Because unlike you, I think I will pay. So we need to resolve this somehow.
Well, there's too many people against it, aren't there, which is a damn shame. For the village.
We'll be able to have a vote.
No, I know. It's a minimum in terms of
Well, we should.
I think that's unfair, Chris. I think the reason partly is because we are thinking about people in the village. And I think to say that it's that is just crass and unnecessary. The reason we're talking is we're talking about protecting our people within our village in terms of parking down there.
Yeah, but I think
That's one of the things we're doing. So please don't start.
So to be fair, I think everybody on this council is about doing the best.
I didn't say Chris
And it
wasn't,
may-
but Chris was insinuating that, and I don't think that's the point. That's very fair. So I'm
I
just.
didn't get that myself. So my proposal would be if we can go back to the company involved, see whether there's any movement on that permit charge. Because I think that would change the majority of the vote. But then I think maybe we'll investigate the other options, because we do know there is money in the budget for the other lines.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I mean, that's the other thing. I think to make a decision when there's something else going on that might lead to solving all the other problems.
I suppose the other thing is somebody's always about engagement, whether we need to ask the village their thoughts.
Yeah. I don't know.
Rather than just telling them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
How would you like to do that?
I mean, we could have an online poll.
Website.
About the website or the Facebook page.
Well, that does cut out a lot of people who don't use. I think we need to think carefully.
Well, does it give you that?
Okay. We just, if we've been through today before, don't need everyone to.
Okay. You know, probably the opportunity to.
I mean, the main people that it's affecting obviously is people down Mere Lane, the Orchards, Jacobs Way and Clover Drive. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's the bulk of the area, isn't it? It's affecting, you know, whether people would be bothered to vote at this end of the village, possibly not, because it doesn't affect them.
Well, I think you will, because there are certain people who use it to walk their dogs, but how to drive down.
Okay. All right.
Pickmere.
All right. So the proposal is that we set up an online poll and also put something to Pickmere Press, and if people want to send in their vote, we'll work out how to put that into the online poll. But an online poll on its own, unless it's not so close, you can't call it. You're more than particularly finish thing.
Apologies, Chair.
Okay. All right. So the item is go back to the company and ask about the permit charge. If we can find out what's happening, that's your for W lines, and we run a poll and ask the villagers what they want. Obviously, it's non-binding, but
Yeah.
okay. Simon, party in the park. We're all excited.
Those stuff of things, social events, first of all, feedback. I mean, Steve summed it up very well in the residence section. There were about 33 people there. And it was quite good to see so many people there. There's some new people there, the regulars. And a lot of good ideas came up. A lot of the ideas were very much double no. And there's some other suggestions as if you look down the footnote. The one that was unanimously by one abstention was agreed on was the party by the lake, and basically I'm coming back to you to say, well, the village would like a party by the lake. There's the willingness, there's the groups available, and
She's panicking.
the band was provisionally booked. We didn't know, but someone's provisionally booked the space for the Saturday the 7th, was it, of Well, 6th of July, 6th of July, sorry, yeah. So basically, we're coming back to the council to say we would like to run the party by the lake. We, as in the village and the people that were involved there, would probably wherewithal to do it. One thing I would say, and this is made very clear, is that this event, like any other event, isn't necessarily to make money, it's to provide something for the village, entertainment, well-being, all of those factors. But obviously, we will need to cover our costs. So we do have a community group who will help support that if need to be. But we will be charging ticket money, and we will be having other bits and pieces taking place there, subject to the agreement. And any funds that are raised would be in surplus, should we say, put toward anything that the parish council would like. So I suggest the playground was a suggestion that came out. So, but there's no guaranteed surplus from this. So basically, we're saying we'd like to do it.
And who is holding this now? Is it this new group or?
Well, it isn't a new group as such. It was a meeting of interested parties. As you know, it wasn't a group that was formed.
I think he's calling it something different, Stephen.
Well, I think we called it something just basically to bring people together under a neutral banner, so that we didn't have this group and that group and that group organising. It was brought as a neutral name, and then basically what we do once we've, subject to you giving us permission, we meet up again. We've got the meeting, then we can bring together a committee to actually get it running up and running with all the interested people in there. We've got a lot of experience there. We've run these before. Don't know how many times we've done.
So is it the community group?
I don't know yet, because that will be brought back to the next meeting where everybody interested will join together to form a group. But we do have people such as, I mean, we very much like, I know you weren't able to come along, were you?
No, I'll come to the next.
Yeah, so we'd like you, one of the things that was said is that we'd like you involved, obviously, as the representative of the council, the formal representative as well.
I've said all along since we've had these discussions when we've had the community group, you know, I'll always help out in any way. And how I feel, and this is me personally, I'm not, you know, this is my personal thought, that whatever we run in the village that's run as a group or whatever, if we make any money, that I always like it, I would love it to have a destination. So like my destination is the playground for the jumbles there, you know, just, it's a good thing so that people know what we're raising money for, even though it's a fun day or it's a party. If there's any funds left after everything's been paid, that won't always happen, I know.
No. Well, this is what Steve said, and he didn't
Yeah,
say.
to just
It's up to
have
us to choose
that
what
bit,
we
no.
want these things.
So people can see, whoever organised it, that at the end of it, if there's any funds left, it's going toward the village hall, it's going toward the playground.
I think it was state government once.
Yeah.
Well, she initially got the band, but the point is if we do it, then
They want £200, don't they, straight away?
there's no guarantee of making a surplus, but if there is a surplus,
That's what I'm saying.
it would be made clear, as I said earlier, it would be made clear that it will be going towards such and such a.
Well, you know, then again, it's you know, I'm happy to go with the majority of where the destination is, you know, it's not up to me, it's up to.
It's up to them, it's up
Yeah.
to them.
To nominate a destination.
Council, Steve said.
Well,
We
it's up to the
pick-
council to nominate what you'd like it to go
So-
to, yeah, and then we'll just have to agree.
So I think step one is, so I think it's a better idea to have a destination to raise money for from events. I think we've gone through the playgrounds. My thought would be not the playground. We have a GoFundMe option. We're going to go for sponsorship, so maybe the village hall would be the obvious thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I agree with Lorraine, I think having a very clear understanding that any event is never going to make, always going to make money. If there is a surplus, that will go to the British Hall Fund. Or I can see
What?
Hmm?
Are we going to be specific of what the fund's going to be for the village hall?
no,
Village hall.
Just the stuff,
Yeah.
just the general.
because we don't.
Don't we say like the roof of the village hall fund? Or-
No,
No.
We don't.
No,
No, I think we just say.
it's for the village hall.
I'm hoping we'll have a new roof before the 6th
Yeah.
of July.
And who knows, we might be.
We might not even have a village hall by then,
Yeah.
but
Might all fall down because of the rain by then. We'll have a different place to put the money. But it won't be the visual. Okay, so the proposal is that residents will hold a party by the lake on the 6th of July. We will give obviously the IROS and the pavilion all three. In return, they want to give us any surplus towards the village hall fund, which will be ring fenced in our new deposit account and only interest at 2.7%.
I think that's fantastic.
7%.
Don't forget the 0.07.
That's great. idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the parish council funding it then?
No.
No.
Parish council shouldn't fund it.
No.
It's the village.
Okay. But parish can fund events if they want.
Yeah.
But we won't be funding this one.
Thank you anyway. I think that's great. idea.
Yeah, sounds like a good,
Yeah.
good new group to coordinate things. Excellent.
All right. Excellent. Moving on.
We've agreed that.
Yes.
Okay.
Just report out the update on training.
Yeah, I made this quick. It's basically we've just, I think I sent everybody a chart, did I? So just that we have £400 budget for training. And we've used 330 of it out of this year. We will have used 330 of it when we complete the courses in March. So there's a course that Jane, I and Chris are doing. And then, you know, from any courses anybody wants, I've sent the link, just let me know. And we can sort it if it fits within the budget.
Does any leftover roll into next year's budget? We have more, or do we start to get?
Is there anything coming up that you need? In terms of.
Website training is what I need, but it's all online unfortunately, so I need to try and find out what I can do online for the website.
Yeah.
I think it's free, it's just time more than anything else, but I'll live with it. So how many councillors have been on training?
7 of us.
7?
I'm presuming, Sam, you've done these courses before.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I'm not.
yeah, so Peter, you don't need it individually.
No,
like
it's just quite nice to put down.
Yeah,
there.
no,
That's
that's
7
seven out of
councillors
the
have been on
done
training.
100% new councils have been on training.
And there's quite a bit more to do, you know, as we go and refresh courses and things.
Okay.
It's quite good.
Sorry, but just meant to mention as well, that's the £500 for the bench.
Ah,
You to stop.
oh,
Stop. Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
I'm back out. Is that in now? I'm since the day checking.
No, well,
You can do it.
you can do it online then, yeah, on the app.
You back with Unity Bank.
Yeah, they may not. No, still valid.
These 3 people need to do everything on that.
Okay. Training. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, to discuss the date of the next meeting and the date of the annual parish meeting, which is a legal requirement.
So the annual parish meeting was from me really, because you need to have an annual parish meeting, and I thought it would be quite nice to have one where you invite representatives from the community to attend, and if you decided to do that, I would have to start working on it now. So the people who use the village hall, the police, your local MP, just make it a bit more interesting than a normal annual parish meeting. So that's the meeting that's held for all the residents of Pickmere. And if you decide on a date, then maybe I can start talking to people. The representatives, please. Before May.
Before May, sorry, yeah.
No, before June, actually. You can hold it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because we've held them in May in the past.
Yeah, so some parish councils have them in the half an hour before their annual parish council meeting, but they tend to be the ones where nobody comes. The chairman just reads out what's happened that year, and then you move on. So that's 5-minute meeting. But you can do that if you want to do that. That's fine. If you want to do something a bit bigger, then I would need to start working on it now. To see if anyone wants to come, or if we can get someone to come, especially if we've got, somebody doing Tai Chi, you've got the warm welcome, and it would be nice to have all those people together.
Give or take.
No, it's up to you.
Yeah, this is what what was done previously,
Yeah.
just inviting everybody and anybody to come along to.
Yeah, the WI, the church.
Yeah,
It's quite
and
a
it
nice
just
thing
makes
to
it
do,
nice,
isn't it? It means that residents
It
are
was.
the same.
because it also advertises them as groups,
Yeah, it does. Yeah, a nice community thing to do.
and it needs to be.
We don't have to do it, it's just a suggestion.
Well, it's a very good idea.
We're doing it on an evening though, rather than evening.
Yes, yes.
Can't be
Yes,
understood.
don't do it on a weekend. Do it on a weekend. But I mean, you can have
On
it.
Friday evening while the pizza man's here.
But that's a good idea.
To be honest, why not? It's a good idea though.
Yeah, that's the pizza man to come with, but there's quite a lot of things you could do.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Friday night.
I would say, no, not try. No one wants to come to a parish council meeting on a Friday
No.
night. If going forward, so the date of the next meeting, you want to discuss that, didn't you? Because you've got a chance to rent out the hall.
Yeah, so
So maybe it'd be better to.
I think we tried alternating Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I'm not sure that's been,
It's not.
it's the most successful. But we do have an opportunity for a fixed booking to the year on a Tuesday. So,
Tuesday.
yeah, so my thought would be to have a meeting on
So,
a Thursday.
which works out better for you, doesn't it? Mm.
So, but obviously, there's a lot of cost going to be coming up. So I think any
They're taking 2 hours, aren't they?
2 hours
So that's
every week.
104 hours.
Yeah.
At £8 an hour, maybe more. If it
Yeah.
goes up in so I don't know that.
Might go on.
And one towards the calculations that I did.
Yeah,
So
so we need it, we need the revenue.
So for this year, we'd only be changing the April meeting, because next year's meeting's on a Thursday anyway. Changing the April meeting to a Thursday, and then in May you'll set the rest of the year, but presumably you will set them to the first Thursday.
But they won't start until April anyway, so.
Yeah, but the one thing about the Thursdays is they won't be able to start until 22. Because there is Dunbar.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, well,
Because nothing at 8 on Thursday.
But, yeah,
Then we could have a surgery, couldn't we?
and we'll get into
But the Tuesday thing, do they, I mean, we need the law once a month.
no, I showed them around the agreement,
There's-
they have it 52 weeks of the year, or they're not bothering.
obviously club, so.
They were absolutely adamant of that.
Yeah.
it's a band, a brass band. Band to brass band. you know.
Yeah.
Not your one, no, because it.
No.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah,
The ones that we have for the
Coronation.
yeah.
yeah, yes.
So the next meeting is on the 7th of March, Thursday, the 7th of March, and then meeting in April would then be 5th of April, oh no, 4th of April.
And if they want to start, you know.
April's
Yeah.
Let's check then.
We can leave that bit.
Let's go for the first.
Yeah, no, I don't think you want to.
So the defecting from church,
Sorry.
Practice at the church at the moment.
No?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, and it would be,
The other day, tonight.
So would you a surgery on that first, in that
Yeah.
one there?
That's what one do we do about surgeries if it's always going to be that late?
Maybe short.
yeah. You don't have to have it before the meeting, you can have it cancel the surgery anytime you want.
The surgery isn't a legal requirement. is it?
No, no.
No, it's an option.
So you may, I mean, based on surgery tonight, you know,
Nobody.
well, no, two people did speak and it took us less than 5 minutes. But also, as councillors, were available to the residents, remember, you know, if somebody wants to go and have a chat about that.
And you don't all have to be available either. Yeah, you could say there will be a counsellor at this place
Yeah.
once a month, whenever, and you could all take turns doing it. You could have to
Yeah, if
be
you've
there.
got any thoughts.
Like the police used to do their surgeries.
Yeah, yeah. And can I just check, start date will be, start time will be 7:45 or 8 o'clock?
7:30. We're out dead on 7:30.
Right, so we'll be able to set up tables and start at 7:45.
You know, you're all chat up.
Yeah.
You may not get tea anymore. Okay, so first days from April. And March is Thursday anyway, so first days from now on.
Okay,
And what about the annual meeting?
would you like to hold it in May? So you're not going to be able to hold it the same day as the,
As a meeting?
May's not good. Isn't it? Go before May.
You're selling yourself.
The sun and the hotness.
Oh,
It can be, yeah, very nice.
there's, I think it's up until there's a certain date in June. Should I check on?
It was May Day, but
No, I thought at the end of,
I think, I would have thought it was the end of May.
What's that?
When you have to have your annual parish meeting.
Right, well, on the 2nd of May, which is a Thursday, there's an election.
Yeah.
So we can't,
Zumba,
yeah.
we won't be here and Zumba won't be here.
no, none of them will be here.
But that's the
Maybe
first
whatever.
Thursday in May.
Yeah, it's the county election, you know, with
PCC.
Oh, yes, we've set ours for the second Thursday in May. We've set ours already for the 9th. So we've already moved the council.
Between the 1st of March and the 1st of June. So,
Sometime in April.
oh, we could do the 1st of May, couldn't we? That's Wednesday, would it, that do, would you
May
make it?
Day.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a quite a nice day, and it's not a holiday, it's the 6th of May that's the holiday. So I don't know, what do people think?
I'll be at work. I can't make that. I can't make the evening of the 1st of May, but I don't need to be here.
but you don't need me here, I can organise it all, but I'm away on the 1st of May.
All right, so if we go back to April.
we've got another 4 weeks in May.
Yeah,
I was saying, are you both away in May?
Holiday.
From when to when?
Holiday.
So it'll be June now.
It could be.
Could be.
So you don't know whether you're going to be away.
No, it's not booked.
So late.
what about, so Wednesdays you can't do, we can't do, we can do Tuesdays in April, oh no, we can't do Tuesdays.
Got booking.
We can,
Gosh, this is difficult.
but it's good, because it means you get.
Yes, it does. And you don't have to have it here. If I look at anyone earlier.
I mean,
Well, go in May, it's,
no, what's about, oh no, we can't do that.
Middle of May,
That's not-
16.
That's the worst time, right in the middle. You can go to Orkney and come back and then go back together.
That means you've got either side.
I think we're in the same position. Now, Tuesday.
What about
Wednesdays
Wednesdays?
we can do, but Nick can't.
Do some Wednesday.
what Wednesdays can
I
you
can
do?
do the 24th May.
Can you do the 8th of May?
No, you can't.
No,
do
you can't
it
do
for me,
it.
because I've got spirit line.
Gosh.
But can I point out, for an annual parish meeting, you'll be attending the residents.
Yes.
you're not attending as councillors, you don't need to be here. You will not be summoned.
No, but what I'm thinking is, anyway, like, a lot of these, we've got bookings.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us what the availability for all is? It might be actually,
Okay,
You've got to give the dates
you
then.
have to move on. So what I propose is that the clerk and arrange,
Come up with a.
come up with a date, that's circulated to us all.
Okay, fine.
Yea or nay.
And you can either come.
do we need to make that decision in council? Or can we agree that we'll make a decision?
No, to the clerk.
Yeah.
That's okay, but as long as we've all got a
I
date.
was just thinking it would be a good opportunity to do a communication event for the neighbourhood plan for our evidence base again.
Yeah, gosh, it's gonna be busy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Book it for the day then, shall we?
Yeah.
The other thing is,
Which month is it gonna be in, did you decide?
May.
May, it's gonna be in May, okay.
all right, the other suggestion, if this helps, which we have in the past held some of the meetings to do with the council, we could actually do do this one on the Saturday morning in the pub. Use their facilities.
You can use you can hold an annual parish meeting in a pub.
No, I don't know, I'm just saying that we have, but we have done events in, but we've made it a coffee meeting.
Council meeting.
No, we
And
don't.
decisions being
Yeah,
made.
no, so we could ask.
I've done,
I need to check
Yeah,
that,
check it.
because
Well, I don't think we've held a parish meeting there, but we've certainly held some events there. So I'm just wondering whether that
Might get
might
more
be an
people.
option when
Might increase attendance.
Saturday morning, persuade them.
to do
Coffee
breakfast.
and tea.
No, because they might get more people coming to breakfast as well.
Okay, so we'll look at venue.
Sounds good.
Was the honest?
Okay, next item is to do with the Facebook page. So we are having continued issues with the current parish council Facebook page. And we don't seem to be able to resolve those. So, so my proposal is that we shut the Facebook page that we have and we open a new one. So that we have full control.
Why can't you just take control of this one?
I don't understand it, because you've got admin rights.
Yeah, they were definitely taken away. And then
Yeah.
No, they weren't, but it's been taken. They've never been taken away.
I think
You've
we've
got
got
them, haven't you?
Yeah. But I don't have full admin rights. I can't do anything as a true admin. I do have the right to post, and then it went
I
away.
don't think you.
Then it came back.
No, we need to close the old and get a new
Well,
one.
we either,
Do that.
Yeah, or just amend it, can't we?
no, we've been
Well,
trying
close
to.
it, then it's off the market, then I can get rid of it.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, I'm quite happy to close it.
Okay.
Is there an issue around having a Facebook page of named the same as another Facebook page? As in, if you'll have to close it, presumably, you can't have two that are both Pickmere.
So you'd have to go with something else.
Well,
Yeah.
you're only gonna be able to open a new one if it's Simon who's got the power to close the old one, close the old one.
Yeah, I'm quite happy.
Is there any-
Then I've got.
Is there any period where you can't reopen it with the same name? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Even when you close the account, is that name held in reserve in any way?
All I can say is that my company has a Facebook page, which is open to the public, and one that's only open to employees, and they both have the same name.
You can unclose no.
Okay, so maybe we can close one and then have an open one.
I just don't understand any situation where we don't allow that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's.
So we'd have to name it something else.
We have the official Pickmere Parish Council Facebook page. So can we delegate that to the clerk?
Okay, who's going to populate the pages?
I mean, currently, we have agreed that you do that. But I'm happy to do that.
Who's going to have admin rights then? So I'll populate it.
So if anyone else wants to start popping in, I'm glad we.
So it just have to be sent to me if you want anything to go on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And then who else is going to be admin?
Me.
So close the Facebook page up, Simon, open a new one. I'll populate pages that it comes through me, so send it to me and I'll put it on.
Yeah.
And then you and then Simon to be admin.
What do admins do?
We can post if necessary and we can answer messages.
So if somebody either, or you can delete, if someone puts an inappropriate message on, you can delete as well.
That's the most important.
Right, okay,
Sending something
okay.
to management.
So if we say that I will put all the posts on,
Yeah.
that's easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's gone through me.
Yeah.
And that you and then Simon can check comments, make changes, that make sure there's nothing.
You would not,
That's
you
really
can,
honest.
you
but
can
not
on
post.
open post, which I think is one of the things that what you can do is you can check posts before they're actually put up. So basically you can.
But if there's only a manager that can post.
No, but what I mean is when the post goes up, any replies will remain blank until they've been checked by one of the admins to make sure that they're not unfair in any way. Because what you can do is anyone who says red blogs is an idiot, and if you start getting that sort of nasty, which does happen on quite a few pages, then it can be.
Currently our policy says that posts are done by the clerk
So that's me.
in your absence.
Oh, in that,
As it was last week.
okay, fine.
Okay. So thanks very much to the public who've stayed the course. Unfortunately, we're going to have to ask you to leave because we're going to have a closed session.
That's fine.